The first thing to understand here, folks, is that I said once before that we have multiple histories or multiple narrations of the past. There are different mythologies and folklore, a different telling of the same story due to language and cultural differences. So, what happens is you have people out there who, when it comes to spirituality, they want to become the antithesis of a person who is spiritually healthy while they are spiritually corrupt. Motive is not always a prerequisite for corruption. Some people just like it. We know that people worship and still do worship dragons and snakes. Those lowercase g's never left. They never left. In fact, they are still worshipped. Their kingdoms are the societies we live in. Do you think China, Russia, the US, Brazil, Australia, the UK, do you think they are the countries they are because of the people or because of where they are? Whatever a country is known for, that's pretty much what it is always going to be known for, because there's always the same spiritual landlord. And this is why governments around the world have to deal with them. This is why if they want to make some major political change, they have to do some crazy ritual first, right? We've seen them do it throughout ancient history up until today. Understand that these spirits are allowed to do this. It is part of the movement of everything in the universe. Something has been spoken into existence. Everything is moving toward that end, and nothing can stop it. In one story, man is created by the Creator. The serpent deceives man, and his children inherit his curse. In another story, the serpent creates man through hybridization and educates him. Now, you can probably imagine that in the antediluvian world, there were exclusive congregations. But the veil is much thinner at that time. And so if Atlantis was a part of this world that sank, one of the beliefs here is, at that point, the earth left the fourth and fifth dimensions and entered into the third physical material dimension. This also thickened the veil between us and the spirit world. This descent of human beings from the fourth and fifth dimension into the third is not really a lie, because when you go from an empire down to one family, you have to start everything all over again. All that knowledge and advanced technology lost. We are a combination of spirit and three-dimensional flesh. The extraterrestrial spirits that wanted to become us failed. Their children had their bodies taken away from them, so they now roam around in spiritual form, mad at the world and jealous of us. Do you see? Those same spirits, after man started over, those spirits came back and took seats of power around the new forming world and waited for man to repopulate. Think about that. And I have a feeling that the serpent beings helped to form the first secret society. And they started to influence man once again. Serpent beings, but not like a reptile, very human looking, pale, blonde, very attractive, with a foul odor. And their influence on man came from the first two seats of power, Shambhala and Agartha, the outer and inner, two polar opposites, which is suggesting that a hollow earth does indeed exist. Some know these two seats of power as the Brotherhood of the Serpent. It then divided to become the Yellow Dragon Brotherhood of the East and the Red Dragon Brotherhood of the West, together forming the Brotherhood of the Snake. Their guidance and knowledge comes from these spirits in power. You can see the red and yellow color scheme in certain cultures, like those in Tibet. Now, there was a third brotherhood that rose, influenced by another seat of power, the eagle, representing space as the eagle rises up between the two dragons. Make sense? As the two dragons fight or go to war, the third, the eagle, keeps its agenda hidden. And the teachings of these groups form the system of kingdoms that existed all the way up into today. These spirit beings would act as messengers to teach men in order to build a world history. So, after Atlantis fell and a new world began, some of the spirits of that old world incarnated once again to take the form of masters and preachers. Sun worship began. Pyramids and obelisks became monuments to the power of the cosmos, and the foundation for the Illuminati began to form. This type of symbolism is still used today in our skyscrapers and tall churches. Yes, churches. The snake is commonly used as a symbol in our Western culture. This goes back to the Brotherhood of the Red Dragon, the seat of Shambhala. The red-capped Tibetans are the representatives, and they travel the world representing it. Led by the Illuminati to bring forward a grand world government. The Shambhala Brotherhood are the influencers of building empires. The influence that comes from Agartha is less physical and more spiritual. It's kind of like the spirits of Agartha are bound, but they still have the limited ability to materialize when they want to fulfill a purpose, which may be why people see orbs coming out of mountains and volcanoes. Let me ask you all something. Where do you think religion comes from? I know some of you don't want to hear it, but don't think of it as right or wrong. Just understand it and accept it for what it truly is. The conflict comes in because there are people who want to only worship the one true God, while these beings want you all to worship them. So this is where the wickedness comes in. This is where the lies come in. This is where the dark rituals come in. This is where evil comes in. I wouldn't be surprised if the Illuminati did start off with some well-meaning and affluent people who were suckered into starting it, while there was that one dude who had more sinister plans. Does this story help make better sense of things? It's not really complex. It seems pretty much in line with what I have been researching. I try not to dwell too much on the names of places because of languages, but in a universal sense, this explanation could be very close to historical reality, at least for those living at that time, as they have to pass this information on to us. So I guess according to this story, the Brotherhood of the Serpent was or is the secret society, the first and the most powerful. Stay tuned, everyone. There is more to come, more on this, and more on these cultures. I don't know, folks. Something keeps telling me that these mythical, legendary, magical places in ancient history may have been ancient reality. Take care, and as always, friends, stay awake, stay aware, stay safe, and I'll talk to you all soon.